In this video, I am going to tell you the differences between being an empath, a narcissist, and a codependent. So I use this really cool little graphic that I just created. You're not going to see it anywhere else. So if you're interested to know the difference between those three and to know which one you are, stay tuned. But for now, let's roll it. My name is Danielle Ingenito, and I'm a spiritual empowerment teacher and master healer. I'm also an intuitive psychic medium, and on this channel, you learn how to heal codependency through spirituality. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button with the little bell notification to get notified when I do have new videos coming out, which is every single week. So now let's go ahead and get into it. I have this cool little graphic that I'm going to share my screen with, but the question really here is, what is the difference between an empath, a narcissist, and a codependent? So today I am going to share my screen with you to really show you a spectrum of where the narcissist and codependent falls, and to show you that the empath isn't even on the spectrum. So let me go ahead and share it with you so that you can start to see what I'm talking about here. Now, in this little graphic here that I created, and you will not see this anywhere else because it is something that I just created for you guys for this video. So this is my line of empathy. And when we talk about narcissists and we talk about codependence, we have to talk about empathy. Now, why do you ask, like, Danielle, why doesn't the empath fall on the empathy line? And I'm going to explain that to you at the end of the video. So just stay with me for right now. Let's talk about the codependent and the narcissist. So the codependent, now this is a line of empathy. The codependent goes to way too much empathy, and the narcissist goes to lack of empathy completely. And on this spectrum here, this is where you really have to determine where you fall. So let's go ahead and speak about the narcissist for a minute. Now, the narcissist, if you watch some other videos that I have, they are people that really only think about themselves. Now, we all have narcissistic and codependent tendencies, and that's why these fall on the same line, because codependent behaviors and narcissistic behaviors are in everybody. So there's no time, and let's let go of this illusion that you will never be non-codependent and you will never be non-narcissistic either. But what we really have to determine is where you fall on the spectrum. The further out you fall on this spectrum, the more detriment you do to yourself and others in your lives, okay? So the narcissist, again, they just really care about themselves. They feel as though, they can do whatever, and they don't really worry about what other people think. Now, of course, in society, we say these are the people that are looking at themselves all the time, that they're egotistical, and that is the case, right? A lot of them do that, but codependents do that as well. What I will say is that in order to really identify them as a narcissist is that they have to have lack of empathy. You can see on the empathy line that they fall all the way over here. So this shows that they do not have empathy, and they cannot relate to what you are feeling when they have lied or when they have cheated on you, because they don't know how to feel. They literally cannot feel. And I know a lot of women get caught up in how do they not love me? But they do not have that capability, right? They do not have that capability of caring or feeling what other people feel. So that is really my sign as a true narcissist, is the lack of empathy that they have. Now, obviously, narcissists could have some empathy. Maybe it'll be in different areas of their lives. It could be with their children. It could be with their partner. They could lack it with their children and have it with their partner, or vice versa. They could have it with their family members, empathy. They could have it for their friends, but not for others, right? So it's all different areas of your lives. But that's the really true testament to me about being a narcissist, is that they lack empathy. They could cheat on you and literally not even care, yet 5 days ago they were telling you how much in love they are with you. So they are just not capable of feeling that empathy. Okay. Now, what is empathy? Empathy is being able to understand someone's feelings and actually care about them. Now, we're going to go to a different way when we talk about empath, but empathy is really feeling bad for someone because they're going through something. You can empathize with them. You can understand or try to understand what they're going through, and probably try to do a little bit to maybe make it not so hard for them. Like you care, you might cook them a meal, you might bring them some flowers, you might try to cheer them up a little bit, right? So that is what empathy really is. Now, as we go down this line and we get into the middle, this is really where we want to be. But let's go ahead and go to the other side of the spectrum here, which is the codependent. Now, the codependent, what is that? Way too much empathy. This is where we want to fix everybody because we care so much about them. We want everyone to be good. We want everyone to be happy. And codependents really like seek that validation outside of themselves, which that's really what codependency is. It is not depending on somebody else. It's not depending on one person, your spouse, your mate, whatever. It's really about it's depending on the validation from outside of yourself. Now that could be, there's so many things that this falls under, right? That could be love, that could be family, it could be friends, it could be business. It can be so many things that the outside world is validating you because you haven't had that validation inside. You have never been taught to love yourself. And this usually stems back to childhood. So when you are that codependent, you are trying to help everybody else because it makes you feel good. You have empathy for them and it makes you feel good. So codependency is a lot of empathy. You are feeling everybody's pain and you want to help and fix them because that makes you feel good inside of yourself. So really the goal here, so again, when we're doing that, it's a detriment to ourselves because usually we're out volunteering. We are giving way too much of ourselves. We're people pleasing. We're not saying no. We don't have any strong boundaries because all we want to do is help everybody else because we feel sorry for them or bad for them. And that makes us feel better. So it's kind of ironic, but you know, we want to feel better ourselves. So we help everybody else. And by helping them, we feel better ourselves. And that's really what codependency is. You're seeking that happiness that makes you feel good outside by helping everybody else. So where we really want to be is we want to, and I'm not going to say never help anybody, right? Never feel bad for anybody and never help them. But what we want to do is we want to bring this closer onto this scale to the middle. So being narcissistic is sometimes good, right? It's good to kind of like look good and feel good and kind of, you know, it's okay for you to post a selfie and like want people to like it. That's okay, you know, and it's okay to want to help other people or feel good about doing something nice for somebody else. Like that's all okay. So what we want to do is we want to bring ourselves to the middle of this spectrum. And we do that by healing ourselves. So because codependents will feel as though, you know, they're ashamed to like put themselves out there or do a selfie or whatever because they're not comfortable with people seeing them. So it's good to go towards the narcissistic side, but we want to be in the middle of the spectrum so that we have the right amount of codependency and we have the right amount of the narcissist you know, tendencies as well. And I don't think you will hear this taught anywhere else except on this video right here. So let me know in the comments below, like, is this resonating with you and does this make sense? All right, so we talked about the narcissist and we talked about the codependent. Now we're going to talk about the empath. And I'm not really sure why they put all of these together except for one reason. Like, so I see a lot of videos, a lot of teachers talk about narcissist, codependent, and empath, but the empath doesn't even fall on this spectrum. And I'm going to tell you why, because it is not even, it all has to do with energy. So this is not really about your thoughts per se, or your actions or your behaviors, but the empath is really about, it's really about absorbing that other person's energy. So this is like having somebody around you that maybe just broke up with somebody and they come into your atmosphere. And by the way, they don't even need to come near you. They could just be thinking about you. They could call you. So anybody in your life, they might just be thinking about you and they have just broken up with somebody and they might be thinking of reaching out to you to like talk to you and see if you could help them through whatever they're going through. And as an empath, that alone, you start to pick up on their energy. So you might start to feel sad or anxious and feel like you just broke up with someone, but not really realizing that maybe that's why you're feeling that way. But you might start picking up on those emotions, and you might be sad and depressed and crying. And like, if you ever ask yourself, and I've done a lot of videos on this, like, why am I feeling this way? Because you have no reason to be sad or anxious or depressed. It's usually because you have someone else's energy on you. So the empath, really, to me, okay, to me as a spiritual teacher, I do not associate that with actually empathy, okay? I associate it with energy, not empathy. Because the empath, unless they know how to clear, protect their energy, we are literally taking emotions on that aren't ours. So codependent and narcissism, those are taking on energy that are actually yours. That is like how you feel. These are things that have come through from childhood. But as an empath, this is really about energy and taking on someone else's energy. So you're not really working with your own emotions and your own feelings. You're working with other people's. And that's really my difference for an empath, where you can't really control how you feel because it's not your energy. So therefore, the only thing that you can do as an empath is learn how to clear and protect your energy. And I do have a clearing on my channel, so you can definitely check that out. I will leave that in the description box below. But that is the difference between the empath and the narcissist and codependent. The narcissist and codependent are dealing with your own behaviors, your own feelings, your own thoughts. And this is about, if you want to get to that middle of the goal, you really have to heal that childhood, because this is where a lot of that comes from. You know, narcissists might not have either had too much love or not enough love. And so did the codependent, not enough love or too much love. So there's a lot of similarities between the narcissist and the codependent. So this is where it gets really confusing as to like, what am I? And one thing that I am going to say to you is, like, don't get caught up in the labels, because I know a lot of women that I work with, they start to say, well, is he a narcissist? And then like they stay in these relationships because they don't know if he's a narcissist or not. And I always say, like, it doesn't matter the label of the person, because we all have these tendencies. What the important thing though is to really realize how you feel. All right. So I'm going to take this down and pop back to you guys. So this is my little graphic for you. So hopefully it makes sense in your mind. I wanted to show it to you so that you could see it. But, you know, just ask yourself, am I happy in this relationship? Is this relationship fulfilling me? It doesn't matter if they're codependent or narcissist. I remember dating someone and I'm like, I can't tell if he's codependent or a narcissist. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter, because I don't feel good in the relationship. And that's all that matters for you guys. And if you're questioning if you're a narcissist or an empath, really what you have to ask is, first of all, a narcissist is not going to ask if they're a narcissist, because they don't think anything's wrong with them. They think everything is good. They never heal also is because they don't see that there's a problem. And the first thing in order to heal is that you have to accept that there's a problem. You can't fix something that you don't know is broken. So that's why a lot of narcissists first are not diagnosed. I really believe that they are not out there. The statistics are wrong because they don't go for help, a lot of them. So they're undiagnosed because they just don't know that there's a problem. And then, you know, the codependent, you really have to ask yourself, like, do you have empathy for people? Like, do you care about people? If you feel somebody's sad, do you want to help them? Like, is that it? Like, it hurts you to feel sad or it hurts you to see somebody sad, right? So you've got to ask yourself, like, quick question: do you have empathy for people? And if you have empathy for people, you're not a narcissist. So let that go. Let that go. And for you to be asking that, that's a really good thing, because you're reflecting on yourself too. So remember, empath, not even on the spectrum, way up, totally different, dealing with energy of other people. And the narcissist, total lack of empathy. Does not care if he's hurting his kids, does not care if he's hurting his wife or his girlfriend, doesn't care if he's cheating and knows that it's going to hurt them. lack of empathy. They will do behaviors and will not care of the consequences or how it affects other people. And as a codependent, way too much empathy, where we want to fix everybody, we want to help everybody. And in doing that, it actually makes us feel better. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I do have 3 spots open in my calendar this week. If you want to jump on a call with me to see if you're a good fit for my From Pain to Power mentorship, which is where I really help you heal from your childhood and heal that codependency and take your power back in your life and get that inner peace and, build your confidence and really awaken your self-worth after being through a toxic childhood and also toxic relationships. So if that interests you, you can find out if you're a good fit for it down in the description box below. I hope this video resonates. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if it does, and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Much love to all of you. Bye.